I'm Algenon Cash, and this is Eat, Drink Triad, your number one source for what's happening with the local food and beverage industry. And as always, I am so honored and proud to bring you an exciting conversation from the food and beverage community. When we formed the Triad Food and Beverage Coalition about a year ago, one of the things that we wanted to make sure we were doing was certainly advocating on behalf of the industry. But advocacy comes in a lot of different forms, and it looks a lot of different kind of ways. And one of the ways that we wanted to make sure that we advocated on behalf of the industry was by also introducing the youth and young people to our industry. And so the Triad Food and Beverage Coalition partnered with Habitat for Humanity, as well as Providence Kitchen, which is a social enterprise through Second Harvest Food Bank. And we offered the first ever youth culinary arts program right here in the Triad area. And we reached out to some really smart 16 and 17-year-olds to participate in that program and brought them in. And they've had the opportunity to learn more about what it is to work in the kitchen, learn sanitation skills, learn about what it takes to really run a restaurant. And now these students are actually out in the community working at these restaurants and picking up this experience and getting paid to do it, might I add. So they're actually getting paid to enjoy this experience. So I have one of the students who is going through this program. I've had an opportunity to meet Destiny when she was taking her classes over at Providence. And I'm so thankful and grateful that she decided to join us for this conversation. Destiny, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. So, I've been keeping up with you since I saw you sometime back, at the beginning of the summer, when you were, and might I add, I didn't get a chance to tell you, I ate one of your cookies as soon as I got in the car that day, and it was the best chocolate chip cookie I ever had. So, it's been some time since I saw you a little earlier in the summer, but I've been hearing some really good feedback about you. And I've heard that you've been doing a phenomenal job all summer long in the Youth Culinary Arts program. So we wanted to invite you here to the Eat, Drink, Triad show so that maybe you could help our audience learn more about what you've been doing this summer. So I guess to just sort of kick it off, talk a little bit about some of the classes that you were taking over at Providence. What was that experience like? What did you learn? Et cetera, et cetera.
Well, at Providence, we started in the classroom. So almost kind of like, PowerPoint presentation. So we have a presentation about the different cooking methods and the different utensils and where you're supposed to put everything in the kitchen so it can be sanitary and safe. So that's how we started, just the technical things. And then the next few days, we began to get hands-on with everything. And then as we went on through the program, like the first 2 weeks that we were at Providence, we were in the kitchen. And then the next week, we had a class with, Miss Amanda. We had a class with Miss Amanda, and she helped us build our resume for when we go to get a job in the industry so it could fit us. Because none of us really knew how to build our resume. So it was really helpful to be able to have somebody there to help us and teach us how to build a resume and what to put on a resume.
And when you were in class and you got exposed to some of the sanitation type rules and guidelines that you were exposed to, were you surprised by anything? Sometimes people think cooking at a restaurant is like cooking at home, but it's quite different, right?
It's not at all. Especially with ready to eat food. And it's funny to see what foods are ready to eat and what aren't. And also how to store food and all those other things. Like, for example, with storing food that's hot, you can't put it straight into the refrigerator because it'll mess with the temperature. And if the temperature is not right, once it gets in the danger zone of about 41 to 135, I believe, it's more susceptible to bacteria, which, bacteria, it'll cause, you can get sick from it and many other things, foodborne illnesses.
Yeah,
Can
you might know your temps better than I do, and I actually own some restaurants. I'm ashamed to say. Let me ask you: have you had a good time coming home and showing your mom about all these various temps and proper food handling and storage measures? I'm sure she's been enjoying it, right?
Yes. Well, the first day that we learned about it, because he gave us like a folder with all the information in it and gave us a handout. And I brought it home and I was talking to my mom because she's over the culinary department at our church.
Oh,
So I
okay,
was,
great.
yeah. So I was telling her about it. I was like, Mom, look at this, like all these different temperatures, how to store it. And I was almost late to work because I was talking about it so much because I was like, look at this, because it was so exciting to learn something new about it and be able to, just share what I learned. And, it was something useful that related to stuff I do in my everyday life. It wasn't just, like, it wasn't just like school, learning about different chemicals because you don't go home and mix chemicals. But you can go home and mix a cake or mix something else to eat. So it was um it was really exciting and I enjoyed being able to learn about something and learn more, I guess I should say, further my knowledge about something that I'm passionate about.
And that you use every day. I'm always, I'm a huge proponent for making sure we teach our young people more life skills, actual skills that they can use at home and use in their everyday life. It's certainly great to know that Charles Dickens wrote The Tale of Two Cities, but you probably won't run into that day to day at home. So you want to have some life skills, and I think this youth culinary arts program, one of the cool things about it is that they are teaching you those life skills. They are teaching you how to build a resume and get out and interview and talk to people and have those kind of soft skills that are necessary for you to be successful in life. I think they also, you've also been taking classes at Habitat for Humanity, right? Like they've been bringing people in and doing specialized workshops with you. I think one workshop that I went to was regarding financial literacy, the one I
Yes.
sat in.
Mm-hmm. Actually, we had that class before we went to Providence. And that was also to, almost help us get like a self-awareness about ourselves before we went into the kitchen. Because when you go into the kitchen, it's not just like cooking at home by yourself. There's other people in the kitchen. You have to be able to communicate. And, if somebody tells you to move and you don't move fast enough, your feelings can't get hurt because you were in the way and you didn't move. Of course, they'll say behind you, but if you move back when they're coming behind you, that's not a smart decision. So of course you're going to be like, oh man, I messed up, but you just have to let it go and keep going because there's stuff that you have to do in the kitchen. There's tasks that you have to complete and you can't worry about that right now. But
Yeah.
in our financial literacy class, we did an activity. I don't really remember what it was called, but we had to separate the cards into different categories. And then it showed us what type of thinkers we were. There was spontaneous, planning, security. I don't remember the other two, but there were 5. And me and my classmates, I call them my classmates because, we were learning together. But me and my classmates, Khalik and Nigel, I think all of us were planning thinkers. I was a planning thinker. And I understand how because, I'm always trying to think ahead. So, we won't be stuck somewhere. But in our activity, it was interesting because some of the cards I was like, whoa, these are really specific, but it's because it related to me and the point in my life that I'm at. Stuff about, saving money instead of going to hang out with friends. That's something that a lot of people my age struggle with because it's like, oh, I want money, but
Yeah, and just for my audience, I want them to know. I mean, Destiny is only 16 years old. She's a student at Atkins High School, scheduled to graduate 2023. you would not know that listening to her, because certainly, Destiny, you're somewhat wise beyond your years, just sitting and listening to you share some of the impact that the life skills training has had on you. You also had to take a serve safe certification test, and for my audience who may not know what that is, that's a certification that basically certifies that you know how to properly handle food and handle the right equipment in the kitchen. You know how to be sanitary with the way you handle food and prepare food. And Destiny, I heard that you aced the test the first time out the gate. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. Congratulations on that. That is huge. I don't know if you know. I mean, there are a lot of people working in restaurants right now today who are not Serve Safe certified. So that certainly should give you a leg up whenever you go to try to get that first job in the food and beverage industry. So, Destiny, I'm curious, what motivated you to go through this youth culinary arts program? You applied, you got accepted. You're obviously taking it very serious. Are you hoping to at pursue a career in food and beverage at some point, or?
Well, what motivated me to do it, I've always had a passion for cooking, even with my grandmas and me growing up in the church kitchen, not just the church, but the church kitchen. Growing up around so many different men and women who, know how to cook, but not only just cook, but love to cook. So it just kind of seeing the way that they love to cook and the way it makes them happy, it made me want to do something like that. In elementary school, I was good at science and I enjoyed science. And I thought, okay, I'm good at it. I can make a career in this. But over time, I realized just because I'm good at it doesn't mean I love it. I like it, but I didn't love it. Come home, you have to write down the formulas for homework. It was like, oh my gosh. But if I came home and my aunt was like, and my mom was like, help me make this cake, I'll help make the cake because that's something that I enjoy doing. So just having a passion for it and understanding that it's not the easiest, it made me happy to be able to do it.
Yeah, I always encourage people to find what you're most passionate about, and then go figure out how to make money at that, and you'll probably have a wildly successful life. But again, Destiny, I reiterate, you are certainly someone who is wise beyond their years, and I think that some of what I've heard, within the course of our conversation today, if you keep doing those things, man, you're going to be so successful. I'm so thrilled I had an opportunity to meet you so early on in your life and your career, and certainly I hope you count me as a resource and someone that will try to open doors for you or connect you to people or what have you. You're also spending some time right now with a good friend of mine, Sabrina Wingo. Sabrina owns Taste of the Triad here in Winston-Salem. So for my audience, if you have not visited Taste of the Triad, go check them out. Some of the best macaroni and cheese in Winston-Salem, ribs, fried chicken, collard greens. If you like Southern food, you'll certainly enjoy Taste of the Triad. Destiny, you're up there around all that great food, and now you're using these skills that you've picked up to sort of help Sabrina out this summer. What's been your experience up at Taste of the Triad? How is it to actually be inside of the restaurant, working and making money?
Um, it's one thing about Taste of the Triad is it's not just a restaurant, it's a family environment. So, most of the time you come in and Kiri Ann, that's one of my coworkers, she'll say, hey family, welcome to Taste of the Triad. So, it's already a welcoming and loving and warm environment. And on my first day, I was a little bit nervous because I'm like, oh no, like they're probably gonna think it's this little girl coming in here, she's gonna slow us down. But everybody was just very helpful and very comforting. And they're like, well, you got it, you're doing good. Thank you. Because they really were like, we appreciate the help. And in my head, I'm thinking, you're helping me more than I'm helping you because you're giving me more knowledge and you're helping me learn more. Even with watching Mr. Steve and Chef Corey, just watching them and how they cook and move throughout the kitchen, and Miss Wanda and Miss Jeannie, just being able to watch them and gain knowledge from them. Even with watching Miss Jeannie clean chicken and watching Chef Corey, how he pans up the macaroni and cheese and has some ready to replenish the line. There's so much you have to learn. It's a really nurturing environment, I would say, not just because I'm the youngest, but because they treat it as, there's somebody here that I can share my knowledge with instead of just it's somebody here who's like trying to learn something. It's like I'm passionate about this. I want to help grow your knowledge on this, and I hope you're just as passionate as I am. Even with helping Dwayne with catering and Seti, excuse me, helping me with the line and making drinks and just being able to interact with all the different people. You never meet somebody who will make you feel like you're less than there. Everybody wants you to feel welcome and feel equal to them.
Well, I know Sabrina personally, and I am a frequent diner at Taste the Triad, and I know everything you just said happens to be the utmost truth and honesty. That really is how it is there, and that's the environment there. And I'm so happy you landed there, and I'm sure they're happy to have you, because right now there is a labor shortage in a lot of restaurants across the country, not just here in our backyard, but across the country. And so all the hands help, and even if they're young and fresh hands like yours, I'm certain they're so thrilled to have you there day after day. So I am so happy to hear that you've enjoyed the program. You're enjoying your experience at Taste of the Triad. As I keep saying, you're also making money this summer, so that's good. It's great to have fun and make money at the same time and pick up new skills. So this has been a really great summer. And Destiny, I appreciate you joining the Eat, Drink, Triad show, updating us on your experience through the Youth Culinary Arts program. Big shout out to George Redd, Chief Program Officer at Habitat, for having the vision for this program and enlisting the support of our Triad Food and Beverage Coalition. And we certainly appreciate Chef Jeff Bacon over at Providence Kitchen. They have been so instrumental in this Youth Culinary Arts program. And if you want to learn more about Providence Kitchen, I did have Chef Brian DePaulis. He's the executive chef at Providence. I had him on the show, and you can go to eatdrinktriadpodcast.com to download that episode, or you can also find it on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, or Pandora. Don't forget, Burger Week is coming up September 19th through the 25th. We did just come off of the deadline for all restaurants and sponsors to register. So we are now focused and moving towards Burger Week, which is happening in September. Don't forget to stay tuned to WTOB for your Restaurant of the Week, which comes out every single week. That way you sort of know what are some of my favorite restaurants that you can go out and visit. And the final part of our Lexington series, our 4-part series highlighting the food and beverage scene in Lexington, that just dropped. So you can find that episode about Sophie's Cork and Ale. You can find that on our YouTube channel, or if you follow us on Facebook, you can certainly catch it there. As always, until next time, y'all stay locked in.